Okay, let's start the second one. Close ko lang yung isang tab. Okay. So Rashi, Kevin, Lan, Jayco, John Lee, top 5 natin. Mas mabilis pumindot, mas mataas yung score kung tama yung makukuha na. Simplify cosine x over sine x. Okay, the correct answer is cotangent of x. 9 got the correct answer. Let's see who's now on our leaderboard. Okay, Rachel is still on our leaderboard together with Kevin, Johnny, Alphonse, and Avon. Let's have the next question. Simplify tan squared x plus 1. Okay, the correct answer is secant squared of x. So 6 got the correct answer. Yung iba hindi nagsagot. So let's see. Okay, so Rashi, Alphonse, Kevin, John Lee, and Avon are still on our leaderboard. We still have 5 more questions. Simplify sine of x cotangent of x. So the correct answer is cosine of x. 4 got the correct answer. Let's have the next questions. Simplify tan of x cosecant of x. Okay, secant of x is the correct answer. 5 got it correctly. We still have 4 more questions. Simplify tan x cotangent of x. Is this the same question? Okay, the correct answer is 1. 4 got it correctly. Let's have the next question. Is cosecant of x over cotangent of x equal to secant of x? Okay, the correct answer is yes. 4 got it correctly. Last 2, simplify sine of x secant of x. Tangent of x is the correct answer. 7 got it correctly. Let's see who's on our leaderboard. Is 1 minus 1 over cosecant of x squared equal to cosine squared of x? An identity. Only one got it correctly. Okay. So our topic for today is about proving trigonometric identities. So let us go back to what we have discussed last time. These are the trigonometric identities that we have. Hindi na nakasama dito yung 6 basic or yung 6 fundamental identities, which are the sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent. So we have reciprocal, quotient, and Pythagorean. Last time pala nung Monday, mali pala yung spelling ng Pythagorean ko. Doon ko palagi nalalagay yung H sa PH. So dapat pala siya sa T, sa PH. Okay? So, ito yung mga kailangan nating tandaan. When we say kasi proving trigonometric identities, you are given an equation. It contains the left side and the right side. In order for us to prove that, in order for us to have the correct answer in proving trigonometric identities, remember that the left side must be equal to the right side. Just like, kaya pinuprove natin siya na trigonometric identity siya, kasi nga pag sinabi nating identity, it is true for all values. So kailangan yung left side is equal to the right side. And when we are proving, remember that we are not required to manipulate both sides. We are only required to manipulate one side, and it is your choice kung ano yung side na i-manipulate mo. Hindi natin pwedeng pagsabayin kasi minsan pag pinagsabay natin, malilito tayo. But there are some instances nung college ako na ginagawa ko, minsan pinagsasabay ko para mag-meet sila sa gitna. For example, pinagsabay ko yung left and right. So, yung left ko pababa, yung right ko pataas para kung mag-meet sila sa gitna. Para alam ko kung ano yung gagawin ko sa susunod. Pero, it is not the case in proving trigonometric identities kasi medyo mas nakakalito siya. Siguro you could do it for checking. In this case, mas maganda na gamitin natin isa muna para hindi tayo malito at para mas accurate and precise yung magiging answer natin. So these are the steps or our guide for us to verify trigonometric identities. Okay, ito yung mga kailangan nating tandaan. Work with one side of the equation at a time. It is often better to work with more complicated side first. Pag sinabi natin it is better to work with more complicated side first, lagi nating tatandaan na hindi porket mas maigsi ay siya na yung hindi complicated. Sa trigonometric identities kasi may mga terms na maigsi na pwede nating i-expand. Ang gusto kong sabihin dito sa inyo na pag sinabi nating better to work with the more complicated side first is hanapin mo muna kung ano yung pwede mong i-expand, ano yung pwede mong palitan into a different identity na maglalabas siya ng iba na halos kamukha nung kabilang side. And remember that if you are dealing with the more complicated side, ito yung basihan natin. Choose the side with the greater number of terms. Choose the side with the terms other than sine or cosine. Parang ang ending point kasi natin dito, ang end result palagi ng ating mga identities are the ones with sines and cosines. Ibig sabihin, we will not anymore be manipulating those with sines and cosines kasi sila yung end result. Sila palagi yung pinakahuli dapat na makita natin. Kaya hindi natin minamanipulate yung side na mayroong sine and cosine. Kasi halos sila na yung na-manipulate na. Okay? So, ang lagi nating pipiliin, yung walang sine and cosine. Kasi we could express those identities na meron na siyang kasamang sine and cosine. For example, tangent. We could express tangent by using sine and cosine because tangent is a quotient identity that is equal to sine over cosine. We could say that tangent squared x is equal to an identity under Pythagorean identity that contains 1 and secant squared x, wherein secant squared x could be further reduced to 1 over cosine squared x. Okay? So that is the technique for us to work better with a side with regards to trigonometric identity. Next, look for opportunities to factor an expression, add fractions, square a binomial, or create a monomial denominator. So in this case, ang sinasabi lang nito ay to simplify. So we need to simplify. Kailangan matalas yung mata mo na makita mo agad na, eto, pag factor out ko to, magka-cancel sila ng denominator and then it will turn out that it is equal to the right side. Okay? Next, look for opportunities to use the fundamental identities. Note which functions are in the final expression you want. Lagi naman ganun eh. Ano ba yung gusto mong maging final expression? Di ba? Ang gusto nating palaging maging final expression is yung isang side na hindi natin ginalaw. So, dapat yun yung mapalabas mo ngayon. Sines and cosines pair up well. Kaya nga lagi daw silang magkasama. As do secants and tangents. Secants and tangents, magkasama sila saan? Pythagorean identity. And cosecants and cotangents. Saan ba magkasama yung cosecants and cotangents? They are both Pythagorean identity. So, magkasama sila because they are co-functions. If the preceding guidelines do not help, try converting all terms to sines and cosines. So kung hindi daw nakatulong yung mga una nating sinabing guide, lagi mong tatandaan na i-reduce mo lahat ng terms into sines and cosines. At baka doon, makita mo na kung ano talaga yung kailangan. And lastly, always try something. Even making an attempt that leads to a dead end can provide insight. Okay? So lagi tayong mag-try ng mag-try. Okay, let's start with this one. Express the following trigonometric expressions as a single function. Let's not yet discuss the how to prove a trigonometric identity. For this one, let's try first reducing. Okay? Para hindi tayo malito. Just like yung example natin kanina, medyo marami na hindi po nakakuha nung sa kahot natin. So let's try. Ayusin ko lang po yung isang camera. Okay? Ba't kaya ang konti na ng natin, ng mga pumapasok? Okay, ang sabi dito, we have tangent of x times cosecant of x. Let us try to express this into a single function. Okay? So, pin ko lang po para hindi ako malito. Medyo malabo. Ayaw niyang luminaw. Yan. Okay. So, we are given tangent of x times cosecant of x. Remember na pwede natin siyang galawin pareho. At ano nga sabi natin kanina? We need to reduce this na meron siyang, ano dapat? Na meron siyang, we need to reduce the terms na meron siya dapat na anong mga function yon? Na meron siya dapat?
Sine and cosines po.
Sine and cosine. So tangent, we could reduce this to what? To?
Sine
Sine
x
of
over
x
cosine.
over cosine. And then multiply that to what is the equivalent value of cosecant of x na merong sine or cosine? We could say that cosecant of x is a reciprocal identity. And it is equal to, that is equal to 1 over, saan po equal si cosecant of x? That is equal
Sine
to 1
of x.
over sine of x. Okay, cancel out sine of x, cancel out sine of x, multiply, this is 1 over cosine of x. But what is the equivalent value of 1 over sine of x? The equivalent value of 1 over cosine of x is?
Secant of x.
Secant of x. Therefore, the answer is secant of x. Are we clear? If you are left with a fraction, sabi kasi dito, we need to express this into a single expression. When we are dealing with single expression, we are not anymore dealing with a fraction. So, kung gusto natin siyang express into a single expression, we need to express this into just a term, kung pwede. So, pero kung hindi na natin siya, for example, ang sagot dito is, meron pang value dito sa taas, tapos hindi na natin siya ma-cancel yung denominator. Therefore, ito na yung mga giging answer natin. Pero since pwede na may value na makukuha tayo sa 1 over cosine of x, therefore, yun yung magiging answer natin, this one. Okay, questions? Let's have the second one. So, let's try naman. Sine squared of x plus sine squared of x, multiply that to tangent squared of x. So what do you think? What do you think is new in this example? Anong napansin natin sa example na to? Analyze. Yes, Rachel?
Sir, since may sine squared of x po, both terms po, pwede po siyang i-factor out po.
Okay, so in this case, we'll be able to factor out the common term. And that common term is sine squared of x. So let's factor out sine squared of x. Dahil pinactor out natin yung sine squared of x, we could say that this becomes 1. Sine squared x, tangent squared x will be just tangent squared of x. Okay, we now have here sine squared of x, but since we know something about 1 plus tangent squared of x, because this is a Pythagorean identity, we could say that 1 plus tangent squared of x is equal to
Secant squared
of x. Therefore, this is secant squared of x. Is this clear? Tama po ba?
Yes po.
Okay. But, ang sabi dun sa guidelines natin, we need to express the terms so that we will be having sines and cosines. Can we express secant na meron po siyang sine and cosine? Yes or no?
Yes po, sir.
Yes. Therefore, our expression would be sine squared of x, multiply that to, what is secant squared of x? It is a reciprocal identity which is equal to 1 over what? 1 over
Cosine squared.
cosine squared of x.
po.
Let's multiply. This becomes sine squared of x over cosine squared of x. But what do we know about sine over cosine? It is equal to a quotient identity. And that quotient identity is equal to?
Tangent squared of x.
What is sine over cosine?
Tangent squared.
Tangent squared of x.
Correct answer is tangent squared of x. Are we clear? Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Opo, sir.
So let's have another example. Could you please try expressing this into a single expression? We are given sine of x, cosecant of x, multiply that to tangent of x, multiply that to cotangent of x. I'll be giving you 1 minute to simplify. Okay, guys, let's try to simplify. Sine, cosecant. Pag ganito kasi, kailangan ma-view natin siya as naghahanap tayo ng pwede agad i-cancel. Ganun kasi yung technique sa proving trigonometric identities. Kailangan makita agad natin kung ano yung term na pwedeng i-cancel. Since we have sine, hindi na natin siya gagalawin. Write down sine of x. Cosecant, write down 1 over sine of x. Cancel out, cancel out. Tama po ba na nag-cancel siya? Yes or no?
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay.
Yes po.
For this one, dahil nakita natin na tangent to at nakita natin na cotangent to, I will not anymore be using quotient identity. Since nakita ko na tangent yan, lagay ko tangent yan. At since nakita ko na cotangent yan, reciprocal ang kukunin ko. Dahil yung cotangent equal siya sa 1 over tangent. I'll cancel out tangent, I'll cancel out tangent. 1 times 1 is just 1. Did you get the same answer? Is your answer 1?
Yes po, sir.
Okay, and
Yes
that
po.
is the correct answer. Okay, let's have another example for this one. Okay, but before that, I'll just share my screen. Let's now move on to our true lesson for this morning, which is all about proving identities. So when we say proving identities, it is a process that converts trigonometric expressions to a form that allows easier algebraic operations. It is important to note that when verifying identities, it is improper to just assume that the two sides of the equation are equal. Remember that it is improper to just assume that the two sides of the equation are equal. So if in case that there are times that you were not able to prove an identity, it is okay because it is not always, the left side and the right side are not always equal. Therefore, it is not an identity. Okay? So let's have an example. Okay? Ayaw magsulat. Verify that secant of x, cotangent of x is equal to cosecant of x. Okay. Okay, Jihan. Okay, so for this one, wag kang mag-ano dito, nagkaklase ako. Oh. For this one, mamili tayo ng side na gagalawin natin. Okay, hindi naman na natin pwedeng i-expand pa tong cosecant of x kasi isang term na lang siya, isang single expression na lang siya. So for this one, ang mapipili talaga natin is yung left side. So ito po yung left side na meron tayo, secant of x, cotangent of x. So if we will be dealing with this one, kailangan daw mapalabas natin siya na equal siya sa cosecant of x. And how do we do that? So secant of x is a reciprocal identity which is equal to 1 over cosine of x. While cotangent of x is a quotient identity which is equal to cosine of x over sine of x. Simplifying, we could say that this is 1 over cosine of x times cosine of x over sine x. This will cancel out and we're left with 1 over sine of x. Is this equal to cosecant of x? 1 over sine of x is a reciprocal identity that is equal to cosecant of x. Therefore, the left side is equal to the right side. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. So let's have another example. What if we're given cosine of x minus cosine of, para wag kayo malito, lagyan natin ng parenthesis. Cosine of x minus cosine of x times sine squared of x. Is that equal to cosine cube of x? Okay, so ano mas gusto nyong galawin po? Anong mas gusto nyong galawin po? Left side or right side?
Left po, sir.
Left po.
Okay. Kasi kung ako yung tatanungin nyo, yung gagalawin ko yung right side. Okay. Pero since pinili nyo yung left side, galawin natin yung left side. This becomes cosine of x minus cosine of x times sine squared of x. Makikita mo agad that there is a common term. And what is that common term?
Cosine of x po.
Cosine of x. Factor out cosine of x. Therefore, this becomes 1 minus sine squared of x. And in this case, we could say that this becomes cosine of x. And what is the value of 1 minus sine squared of x? Let's go back to the Pythagorean identity. We have Pythagorean identity which is equal to sine squared of x plus cosine squared of x is equal to 1. And pwede natin siyang i-manipulate. We could say that sine squared of x is equal to 1 minus cosine squared of x. Or we could say that cosine squared of x is equal to 1 minus sine squared of x. Isn't it? Tama po ba?
Opo.
Okay. So, just like to the other Pythagorean identity, pwede natin siyang i-manipulate. Ibalik-baliktad natin siya ng side. So, dahil doon, makukuha natin yung iba't ibang values nung identity na meron tayo. Okay. At saan equal si 1 minus sine squared of x? Saan daw siya equal? 1 minus sine squared of x is equal to cosine squared of x. Therefore, write down here, cosine squared of x. If we will be multiplying, this is cosine squared, that becomes cosine cube of x. And we are now having a trigonometric identity. And we were able to prove that this side is equal to the other side. Questions? Is this clear? Maliwanag po ba?
Yes.
Okay, let's have another example. Let's verify that cosecant of x over cotangent of x is equal to secant of x. Okay, this is very easy. We could say that cosecant of x is equal to 1 over sine of x over cotangent of x is equal to cosine of x over sine of x. And we could say that this is division. Gawin natin siyang multiplication. Therefore, this is 1 over sine of x. Multiply that to sine of x over cosine of x. Cancel sine of x, cancel sine of x. And we're left with 1 over cosine of x. At saan po equal yung reciprocal identity na 1 over cosine of x? That is equal to secant of x.
Secant po.
Is the right side equal to the left side? Yes,
Oh.
they are equal. Therefore, it is an identity. Okay. So, let's try another. What if you're given cosine of x is equal to cosine cube of x plus cosine of x sine squared of x. So, let's go ulit. Okay. So here, hindi na natin ma-manipulate yung nasa left side kasi masyado na siyang simplified. So ang ma-manipulate na natin is yung nasa right side. So let's try. Mapapansin natin that cosine is the common term. Okay, therefore this is cosine of x. Therefore, this becomes, nilabas natin yung isang cosine. This is cosine cube. Ilan yung matitira?
Cosine squared of x po.
Cosine squared of x. Cosine x, sine squared x. Ano pong matitira? Sine squared of x. But we know something about cosine squared and sine squared. And that is equal to
1 po.
1. Therefore, this becomes cosine of x times 1. Therefore, we could say that cosine of x is equal to cosine of x. Is this an identity?
Yes po.
Yes.
Therefore, it is an identity. Questions? Okay, pwede pa screenshot muna para ano yun, para hindi kayo malito. Okay? Purahin ko lang para sa iba pang examples natin na mas mahirap. Okay. So, i-verify naman daw natin, we have tan squared of x minus cotangent squared of x over tangent of x plus cotangent of x. Is that equal to tangent of x minus cosine of x? Okay? I'll be giving you 1 minute to analyze and then give me your insights. Okay. What is your analysis with regards to this example? Any insights po? Paano natin mapapalabas yung kanan kung ganito po yung kaliwa? Any insights? Or wala pang masyadong naiisip kung ano yung gagawin? Okay. So for this one, ang sabi sa atin kanina, dito kanina, look for opportunities to factor an expression, add fractions, square a binomial, or create a monomial denominator. Okay, yun po yung sabi sa atin kanina. In this case, meron tayong nakaligtaan na pinag-aaralan na natin before na noong unang tingin nyo ay hindi nyo pa masyadong napansin. Look at the numerator. Squared, squared. If both terms are being squared, it only means that there will be factors, right? And this is difference of squares, isn't it? Tama po ba na difference of squares yung makukuha natin dito? Yes or no?
Yes po.
Okay. And if we have difference of squares, remember, na nangyayari lang yung pagfa-factor na yon if that is difference, therefore if it is subtraction. Okay, so kung minus po yung nandyan. Therefore, yung magiging factor niya, isang minus at isang plus. Okay, and it contains tangent of x minus cotangent of x. Then multiply that to tangent of x plus cotangent of x. And that will be the factor. Tama, mali?
Tama.
Tama po.
Okay. Over
Oh,
tangent of x plus cotangent of x. In this case, may makikita na tayo na maliwanag na magka-cancel. Tama po ba? May magka-cancel po ba sa given natin?
Yes.
Meron po, sir.
Okay. And that is the denominator and one factor of the numerator. So hanapin mo yung may plus, this will cancel out. Hanapin mo yung may plus, this will cancel out. And is this equal to the right side?
Opo.
Therefore, we could say that this given, the end part is tangent of x minus cotangent of x, which can be both found on the left side and on the right side. Therefore, this given is an identity. Are we clear? Okay, wag mong kakalimutan na pwede kang mag square of binomial or difference of squares. Pwede nating gawin yun. Pwede ding mag-conjugate multiplication ka, which we will later discuss. Okay? So, pakitry nga ito, guys. We have cosecant of x, cosecant theta, minus cotangent theta is equal to sine theta over 1 plus cosine theta. If you will be choosing, anong gagalawin mo? Left or right? If you will be choosing, what are you going to manipulate? The left side or the right side?
right side po, sir.
Right side? Why right side? Pasok kayo. Why right side? Anong sabi natin na common guide natin? Di ba ang sabi natin that we need to reduce the terms in just sine and cosine? Eh, naka-reduce na yung right side natin into sine and cosine. Therefore, ano dapat yung i-manipulate natin? Is this the left or the right?
The left po.
The left. Okay, so let's try. Try nyo. I'll be giving you 1 minute to try. Naglilibot kayo. Okay, galing. Okay, let's try to answer. So if you will be manipulating the left side, cosecant of theta will be equal to 1 over sine theta. Cotangent of theta is equal to cosine theta over sine theta. Tama po ba? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So if we are dealing with this one, look at this. We have the LCD, which is sine theta. And we also have the numerator, which is equal to sine divided by sine is 1 times 1 would be just 1. Sine divided by sine is 1 times negative cosine theta is 1 minus cosine theta. But is that equal to sine theta over 1 plus cosine theta? Yes or no?
No.
Po.
Are they equal?
Di pa po.
They
Hindi pa
are
po.
not equal. But we could see that they are the reciprocals of each other. But this one is positive, this one is negative. Na-realize niyo ba yon? Yes or no?
Opo. Yes po.
Okay. In that case, pag merong mga lumalabas na ganitong expression, gusto kong ituro sa inyo na kaya iniisa-isa natin mula sa mahirap na example kanina, mula sa madaling example kanina papunta sa mahirap para alam mo yung gagawin in case na ma-experience mo or mapunta ka sa part na merong ganito. Okay, sulat natin ulit dito ituturo ko sa inyo kung paano yung gagawin. 1 minus cosine theta over sine theta. Yan po yung i-manipulate natin kasi dito tayo galing. Tama po ba? Dito tayo galing, hindi natin pwedeng i-manipulate na tong kanan kasi we have chosen the left side. So in this case, this example or this process is what we call as conjugate multiplication. Okay. So when we say conjugate, hahanapin natin yung numerator or denominator which is considered na more than one term siya. At ano ba yung more than one term dito, guys? The numerator or the denominator?
Numerator po.
Numerator. And then we need to multiply that by its conjugate. So ano ba yung conjugate? Dahil napili natin yung numerator, ibig sabihin, papalitan natin yung sign niya. And this becomes 1 minus cosine theta over 1 minus cosine theta. Wala namang nangyari. Why? Kasi nag-multiply lang din tayo ng 1. Tama? Is 1 over cosine theta over 1 minus cosine theta equal
Yes,
to
po.
1? Okay.
Yes.
So wala lang din nangyari dun sa expression natin. Therefore, this must be plus. This must be plus kasi it is a conjugate. Pag minus to, kailangan plus to. Okay? Maliwanag po ba yon? Okay. Therefore, this becomes 1 minus cosine theta, multiply natin. 1 minus 1 plus, ano po yung lumabas dito? Square of a binomial. Tama po ba? Yes or no?
Yes po.
1 minus 1 plus, magkamukha sila. Therefore, square of a binomial or difference of square. Okay, this becomes 1 minus cosine squared theta. Tama po ba na pag pinag-multiply natin to, ang sagot is 1 minus cosine squared theta?
Apo.
Opo.
Okay, over sine theta times 1 plus cosine theta. But, what do we know about this part? Guys, what do we know about this part? It came from the first Pythagorean identity. At pag sinabi natin 1 minus cosine squared theta, saan siya equal?
Sine squared po.
Sine squared theta over our denominator is sine theta times 1 plus cosine theta. Cancel 1 sine theta, cancel 1 sine theta here. Therefore, this becomes sine theta over 1 plus cosine theta. Is this equal to the right side? That is sine theta over 1 plus cosine theta? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes po,
Yes.
sir.
Therefore, it is now an identity. Nakita yung ginawa natin? Di ba sabi natin, kailangan mag-isip tayo ng pwede nating i-manipulate, na pwede nating gawin. At tatandaan nyo sa mathematics, napaka-helpful ng conjugate multiplication. Maliwanag? Questions? Okay guys, I just need to take this call. Wait lang po. Okay, so could you please try to prove this one? Paki-prove nga po ito. I'm giving you 2 minutes to prove. Secant of x minus cosine of x. Is that equal to sine of x times tangent of x? Okay? Okay, let's try to answer. Just give me another 5 minutes po para ma-wrap up natin yung discussion natin ngayong araw. Okay. Secant of x minus cosine of x is equal to sine of x times tangent of x. In this case, parang ang hirap atang galawin ng kanan kasi wala tayong mapapalabas na may minus. Tama ba? Ay, hindi. May mapapalabas tayo na may minus sa kanya. Ano bang gusto nyong galawin? Kaliwa or kanan? Guys.
Kaliwa po, sir.
What do you want to manipulate? Kaliwa or kanan?
Kaliwa.
Kaliwa? Kasi mas madali?
Kaliwa po.
Ayoko. Gusto ko kanan. Ayoko. Gusto ko kanan. 2022 na, makikinig pa ako sa iba. Char, hindi. So, gamitin muna natin yung kanan. Kasi alam ko sinagutan nyo siya using yung kaliwa. Okay lang? Kanan yung gamitin natin?
Opo, sir.
Okay. So, dito sa kanan, this becomes sine of x. Tangent of x could be written as sine of x over cosine of x. Multiply, this becomes sine squared of x over cosine of x. But we could say that sine squared of x is 1 minus cosine squared of x over cosine of x. Tama po ba? Pakitingnan. Tama po ba?
Opo.
Okay. So for this one, we could say na pwede nating paghiwalayin si 1 over cosine at si cosine squared of x over cosine of x. Gawin natin yun. This is 1 over cosine of x minus cosine squared of x over cosine of x. Mas madali, di ba? 1 over cosine is reciprocal, therefore that is secant of x, minus cosine squared of x over cosine of x, cancel yung isang cosine, therefore this becomes cosine of x. Is the left side equal to the right side?
Yes.
Yes
Is the
po.
left side
Yes
equal to
po.
the right side? Yes. Therefore, they are now equal. Questions? Di ba madali? Anong mas nadalian nyo, yung kaliwa or yung kanan? Baka yung kanan, yung kaliwa, ano? Mas nadalian ba kayo sa kaliwa? 1 over cosine. At tas nag-multiply lang, so nag-minus. Okay. So same lang din naman siya. Okay, let's have another. I'll leave this to you, this example. Paki-screenshot muna, tapos burahin ko lang. Uy, nakakamiss naman yung mga travel natin. I miss Sir Juvie. Ayan, mas challenging. I'll be giving you 2 minutes to analyze. 1 plus sine theta over 1 minus sine theta minus 1 over sine theta all over 1 plus sine theta is equal to 4 sine theta secant squared theta. Ano ba iba yung aasikasuhin? Ay, pwede din. Pwede din na doon siya sa mismong wall ko. Yung wall na So, talagang pinapaan. Ang pwede sila dito. Okay? So, anong gagawin natin? Ano pong pipiliin natin? Kaliwa or kanan? Kaliwa. Pinili nyo ba yung kaliwa? Yes or no? Ano po yung pinili nyo? Ano po yung pinili nyo? Kaliwa or kanan? Ano po yun yung pinili nyo? Pwede ko din naman piliin to. Secant, tangent siya equal. 1 plus tangent squared. Tapos pag binultiply ko, medyo complicated nga lang. So let's try the left side. LCD is 1 minus sine theta times 1 plus sine theta. Tama po ba? Ito po yung nakuha yung LCD?
Opo.
Okay.
Opo, sir.
So, kung i-manipulate natin to, this is the LCD. Ito, cancel. So, this becomes 1 plus sine theta squared. Tama po ba? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Okay. So, ito magka-cancel out. So, ito times ito minus 1 minus sine theta squared. Tama po ba?
Yes
Opo.
po.
Okay. At malalaman natin na yung denominator is difference of squares. Yes or no? Therefore, this becomes 1 minus sine squared theta. Isn't it? Tama po
Opo,
ba?
sir.
Yung denominator, ito. Okay. Could you please help me by expanding this one? Pwede nyo din naman ako hindi tulungan. Okay, this becomes 1 plus 2 sine theta plus sine squared theta. Tama po ba? Is this the expansion of the first term? Yes or no?
Opo, sir.
Opo.
Minus. Expand natin to. This becomes 1. This becomes minus 2 sine theta. Tama? Tama?
Opo.
Opo.
Sine squared theta. And that is the expansion. Okay, rewrite the numerator. Distribute the negatives. Therefore, this becomes minus 1 plus 2 sine theta minus sine squared theta. And then write the denominator, but the denominator is equal to a Pythagorean identity. And that Pythagorean identity is
Cosine.
Cosine squared theta po.
cosine squared theta. This is plus 1. This is minus 1. Cancel out. This is plus sine squared theta. This is minus sine squared theta. This is 2 sine theta plus 2 sine theta. We'll now be having 4 sine theta over cosine squared theta. Okay? Paghiwalayin natin yung dalawang cosine. This becomes 4 sine theta over cosine theta times 1 over cosine theta. But what is sine theta over cosine theta? Or mas nalito kayo? Mas dapat na hindi natin siya paghiwalayin. Sige, wag natin siyang paghiwalayin. Kasi hindi nga pala tayo nagpapalabas ng tangent. So, ang ihiwalay natin is si cosine squared theta. So, times 1 over cosine squared theta. Therefore, this becomes 4 sine theta. 1 over cosine squared theta is a reciprocal identity, and that is secant squared theta. Is that equal to the right side? We have 4 sine theta, secant squared theta. Are they equal?
Yes.
Therefore, it is an identity. Questions? Meron pa ba akong ibang example? Okay na siguro to? Okay, questions, clarifications. Questions and clarifications. See you ulit pagbalik nyo. Questions po, clarifications. Is our lesson clear for this morning?